Before we start today's video, I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts on the Joe Flacco move. Obviously, a bombshell. Well, not really a bombshell, but a bombshell for Bengals fans across the nation. Joe Flacco's a Cincinnati Bengal. What timeline are we living in the year of 2025? So, obviously, after the few weeks that Jake Browning has had, the disaster of a few weeks that Jake Browning has had, the Bengals could not sustain it. Zach Taylor feels his job security heating up. He might be on the hot seat. Change was needed, and they opted to go Joe Flacco, who 40 years old, veteran in this league, seen it all. Did not have a great start with the Cleveland Browns. Benched a few weeks ago in honor of Dylan Gabriel. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where this goes here. I'm a fan of the move. I'm pumped. I think it'll make the Bengals offense watchable. I don't think it'll be sunshine and rainbows, obviously. It's 40-year-old Joe Flacco. But I think he'll be able to make the Bengals watchable, get the ball to Chase and Higgins, and it will be a better overall offensive unit. And hopefully, the defense doesn't get hung out to dry, kind of like they did last week. But I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. This could be it for him. As for before retirement, this could be his last run here. The Bengals making this move could potentially mean that they think that Joe Burrow will end up being healthy by the end of the season. They might think that he is going to be able to come back in December or whatever. But yeah, it's been three straight losses for the Bengals at this point. It hasn't been pretty, so it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I'm a huge fan of this move. I'm glad they decided to care, and I'm glad they went for a quarterback. I would prefer James Winston, but they made the move. I'm glad. I'm pumped to watch Joe Flacco on Sunday. I assume he's starting versus the Packers. I don't see them trotting Jake Browning out there. Jake Browning had a disastrous performance last week. I expect them to trot Joe Flacco out there on whatever 5 days notice or whatever. But yeah, should be interesting in Cincinnati. I'm excited, I guess. It's a new quarterback under center after the disaster that happened last week. And yeah, we'll talk about that more as the video starts up. But for now, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole situation. And we'll talk about it more when we go for the Bengals game when the video starts. But right now, let's get into 365 recap this week, episode 5. Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. And today we have episode 5 of the 365 recap for you guys on the channel. And we had a jam-packed weekend of football, mainly filled with a ton of upsets, a ton of intriguing games, big wins by some underdogs, and much, much more to talk about. It's Tuesday as always, so we do these things every Tuesday. And if you guys do enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos exactly like this. This is already episode 5 of the 365 recap, which is pretty crazy to say, but without further ado, let's get right into this. Let's start off with college football, a little bit of a recap about the weekend in college football. Starting off Friday night in the top 25 game, West Virginia, BYU. BYU being number 23 in the country going into the week. They win 38-24 on Friday to get the win and go to 5-0, undefeated in the Big 12. West Virginia drops to winless 0-3 in the Big 12. Ohio State beats Minnesota 42-3 on prime time on Saturday. Julian Sayin 23-27, 326 and 3 touchdowns. Great game for him. Carnell Tate also had a great game. They killed Minnesota. Miami and Florida State looks close. It was not close. It was 28-3 Miami at one point. I think Tommy Castellanos with 25-45, 272 and 2 touchdowns, but Miami dominated this entire game. Do not let the final score fool you. It was 28-3 at one point. Carson Beck played very well. Malachi Tony, the true freshman, he's looking like a very, very good player. Brother of Kadarius Tony, I believe. But that's now 2 straight losses for Florida State, dropping to 0-2 in the ACC. A bad, bad loss. A bad, bad loss. In your house, crowd was rocking, and Carson Beck went into their house and walked him down. So that's very, very interesting. But Oklahoma beat Kent State 44-0. Obviously, no John Mateer in this game, but Red River rivalry coming up this weekend. We will see. John Mateer is pushing to play, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to suit up. But that should be a very good game nonetheless. One of the biggest rivalries in college football. Texas A&M beats Mississippi State 31-9. It's pretty close to the entirety of the first half. I think at halftime it was 7-3 Texas A&M, but in the end, Marcel Reed and the Aggies just they pulled away in the second half. The upset of the weekend. UCLA, who comes into the weekend 0 and 4 at home, beats Drew Aller and the Penn State Nittany Lions, number 7 team in the country, 42 to 37. Nico Iamaleava, 128 yards rushing, 3 rushing touchdowns, and maybe his best game in college football so far in Tennessee or UCLA. UCLA at home, good crowd. No one expected them to win this game. I thought Penn State would blow out this game, coming off the loss to Oregon, where they went toe to toe with Dan Lanning and the Ducks. They go into UCLA and get an upset loss. I mean, I am Aliaga was great. I mean, UCLA was great in this game. They led for the entire game. Penn State tried to come back, but it was not enough. Penn State's now 0-2 in the Big Ten, 3-2, and that is a detrimental loss to their season. And are their playoff hopes still alive? Pretty much no. It's pretty much guaranteed. James Franklin might not last the season, and if not, he's getting fired at the end of the season for sure. This team's not a playoff team, so yeah. Another upset. Texas, now 0-1 in the SEC. It's actually their first game of SEC play. Goes into Gainesville, and DJ Lagway ends up winning the game. I mean, Arch Manning, he was bad, threw a couple bad interceptions. When Arch Manning's not playing a bottom of the barrel FBS team, I mean, he's just not playing well. He's definitely staying in college another year. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with him, but it just hasn't been good. Unranked Florida gets the win at home over Texas. Texas is knocked out of the AP poll, which we'll talk about more in a few minutes here. Vandy, Alabama, the game of the weekend to most people. 16 versus 10, big SEC matchup. Bama gets the win at home. Ty Simpson played a very good game again, backing up his Georgia win. Jam Miller, 22 for 136 and a touchdown. Ryan Williams also getting a touchdown in there. Bama came in this game. They did not underestimate Vanderbilt like they did last year. Vanderbilt's a very serious program now. Diego Pavia, a very good quarterback, and I think Vanderbilt will be fine. They'll still be very competitive, but in a very competitive SEC this year, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening in the SEC championship game. But a big loss for Vanderbilt. Alabama wins the game 30-14, and Alabama is not going anywhere. Texas Tech beats Houston, gives Houston their first loss this season. They win 35-11. Texas Tech, I called Iowa State the best team in the Big 12 last week. We'll see. We'll talk about that in a second. But Texas Tech 5-0, 2-0 in the Big 12, one of the best teams in the country right now. They're playing very well. Georgia beats Kentucky 35-14. Not gonna lie, I wasn't at the house during this game. I did not watch a single snap of this game, but it'll be interesting. I mean, Georgia 35-14 SEC win. They got their job done at home. Dogs win. There was no thought in anybody's mind that Georgia would lose that game off coming back from the loss from Alabama though. So Iowa State and Cincinnati, I was not home during the 1 o'clock window, so I didn't see a lot of these early games, but this was a very good game. Rocco Beck, 30-48, 314, 2 touchdowns for Iowa State. Very competitive game all the way through, but at Nippert Stadium, 38-30, the Cincinnati Bearcats go to 4-1, undefeated in the Big 12 still. They're just outside of the AP poll, I believe. I don't think they made the AP poll this week, but they're creeping up on it. So they're undefeated in the Big 12. They're 4-1, 38-30. Only loss being week 1 to Nebraska. So yeah, Cincinnati gets the job done there. Michigan beats Wisconsin. Bryce Underwood and Justice Haynes did their job. Justice Haynes goes 19 for 117 or 2 touchdowns. Michigan goes to 4-1, undefeated in the Big 10. They win 24-10. Notre Dame beats Boise State 28-7. No doubt here. Notre Dame's going to win this game. Notre Dame's defense played very well. They've been playing better in the past few weeks with the win over Arkansas, the win over Boise State. That's 3 in a row for Notre Dame. Not really any quality wins in those 3, but they did their job. Jeremiah Love 103 and a touchdown. Notre Dame's running game was killing it the entire game. Illinois beats Purdue 43-27. Illinois 5-1, 2-1 in the Big Ten. They win the ranked Illinois Fighting Illini. Altmaier 390 and a touchdown. Very good game for him. And the Virginia Cavaliers win another big one, and they win this one in overtime against undefeated Louisville Cardinals. One of the best games of the weekend right here. Miller Moss had a great effort, 34-48, 329, 2 touchdowns. But in the end, the Virginia Cavaliers are rolling. They're undefeated in the ACC, 5-1, number 24 team in the country coming in. They're now even higher, probably 30-27. Louisville suffers their first loss of the season and the first loss in ACC play, obviously. So yeah, that's a little recap of the top 25 games this weekend. We had a few teams on bye. It'll be interesting to see some good games this weekend. We'll preview them real quick before going to the NFL side of things. I don't know why it's not loading. There we go. On Friday night, we have South Florida versus North Texas. South Florida is back in the top 25. They're playing North Texas here. North Texas is 5-0. I mean, you never know. It could be an upset, but I expect USF to roll here. Ohio State, Illinois, big noon Saturday on Fox at noon. Number one team in the country versus number 17 team in the country. I expect Ohio State to win this game again. I mean, Luke Altmaier might put up a good fight, but Illinois just lost by 50 points to Indiana a few weeks ago. I mean, Julian Saint's playing great football. They have the best receiver duo in the entire country. Iowa State. Ohio State is clearly the best team in the country to me. I mean, you can argue the Miami Hurricanes are, but to me, it's Ohio State. Another very good game at noon, an SEC matchup, two undefeated teams in the SEC, and Missouri being undefeated in themselves. Alabama's 4-1 going into Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers, 5-0, 1-0 in the SEC, two undefeated teams in the SEC. This will be a big game in SEC play. Ahmed Hardy's playing very, very good through 6 weeks. Ty Simpson's reviving his season after the loss to Florida State in week one. I'm gonna pick Alabama in this game. I expect them to win this game, but I think Missouri will put up a very good fight. Florida State hosts Pittsburgh. Florida State has to rebound here. Number 25 in the country, still squeaking in the AP poll with the loss to Miami. They might have scored enough points in garbage time to stay in the AP poll, but I think they're gonna get their first win in ACC play here. They should win. Ole Miss is gonna roll Washington State at home. Lane Kiffin has the boys rolling. The best game of the weekend, probably right here. Indiana, Oregon, Big Ten, two 5-0 teams, both 2-0 in the Big Ten in Eugene. Dante Moore and the Ducks coming off a little bit of a bye week. Should be interesting. Kurt Signetti versus Dan Lanning, a very good head coach matchup. College game day will be on site for this one. This game's on CBS at 3:30. I expect the Ducks to win here. It will be interesting to see how much of a fight Kurt Signetti can put up, and we'll see if Indiana can keep this game close because the Ducks look very good right now. So, yeah, give me the Ducks there. Oklahoma, Texas. Texas now not ranked. I know ESPN is pissed about that because this would have been a better game. College game day might have went to Texas, but this game's at the Cotton Bowl. It's at Dallas, so Oklahoma's 5-0. John Mateer is pushing to get back. If John Mateer plays, I'm for sure taking the Sooners in this game, but who knows? If the backup quarterback for the Sooners, Arch Manning, could pull off the Red River upset. The Red River upset, excuse me. Um, so yeah, we'll see. Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech still undefeated. I believe they're coming off a bye week. They host Virginia Tech in the ACC. Notre Dame hosts NC State. Notre Dame should get this win. Iowa State, Colorado, Big 12 matchup. Iowa State coming off a big loss to Cincinnati last week. They need to rebound here. They're a much better team than Colorado. They should be able to get right here. Little late afternoon SEC matchup. Arkansas, Tennessee. Tennessee number 12 in the country. They're also coming off a bye week, I think. They last played Mississippi State. Arkansas, Taylor Green. They can score points, so who knows? This game could be close, but we'll see what ends up happening there. Florida, Texas A&M. Florida coming off the win versus Texas. They're going into College Station. Going to be a tough atmosphere there. Marcel Reed's playing great, great football. I mean, Mike Elko, I expect them to win this game. They're looking like one of the best teams in the country right now, and they're looking like a surefire playoff team right now. So it'll be interesting to see when they play real SEC teams, when they play the best of the best, can they hold up? But yeah, Kansas, Texas Tech number 9 in the country, so they host Kansas, the Jayhawks. Georgia, Auburn, obviously one of the older rivalries in the NCAA. Georgia's number 10 in the country at 4-1. Gunnar Stockton having a decent season. Auburn 3-2. I think they've lost two in a row. They lost to Oklahoma, and who did they just lose to last week? I'm bugging. Who did they just lose to last week? But they've lost two in a row. They've lost two in a row. Jeremiah Cobb is having a decent season though. Michigan USC, little Big Ten matchup on Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. Bryce Underwood coming off the Wisconsin win, going into the Coliseum to take on the Trojans. Should be a good game in the Big Ten. USC is probably one of the first teams out of the AP poll, being not being ranked. Michigan's number 15 in the country. Should be a very good game. South Carolina LSU. LSU being ranked at home. Garrett Nussmeier needs a good game. Like he needs oxygen right now. Just hasn't been good. A lot of people going into the season having Heisman hype on Garrett Nussmeier. Just has not came to fruition yet. LSU's heavily favored in this game. Lenora Sellers, can he put up a fight? BYU Arizona 8 o'clock Big 12 game a little bit after dark, and then Arizona State Utah as well. 4-1 versus 4-1. Utah probably also one of the first teams out of the 8 people. Sam Levitt on the road going into Salt Lake City, so should be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, we have an interesting week of college football ahead. I have a 4-day weekend this weekend. I am pumped to sit on the couch and watch some football. I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. I'm pumped to watch some football. So yeah, we're gonna be watching NFL. We're gonna be watching college football, obviously. But yeah, let's now talk about the AP poll real quick, and then we'll get into a little bit of NFL recap. So yeah, this is your week 7 already. Jesus, we're already week 7 of college football. It's already going by so quick. This is your week 7 AP poll in the NCAA. So yeah. And here is your week 7 college football AP poll. Topping out, Ohio State, Miami. People have argued all week about which team is the best in the country between those two. I still think Ohio State deserves to be the top. Obviously, you're defending national champions. Miami is playing very, very good, though. One of the best defenses in the country. Carson Beck is a little bit like people didn't have much confidence in Carson Beck when he transferred from Florida, but he's playing very, very good with the Hurricanes. Oregon at number 3 coming off a bye week, they go down one spot. Ole Miss stays at number 4. I think it's the third week in a row. They're at number 4, maybe. Is it the third week in a row? I don't know. Texas A&M at number 5, they go up a spot. Oklahoma down one. John Mateer, can he suit up this week? Indiana at number 7, they play Oregon in Eugene this week. Alabama, Texas Tech, Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee. Few SEC teams right here, 10, 11, 12. Georgia Tech at number 13, they're up 4 spots. Missouri's up 5 spots. Michigan's up 5 spots. Notre Dame's up 5 spots at number 16. 3 wins in a row for the boys fighting Irish there. Illinois, bad loss a few weeks ago. They're up 5 spots. Now they're 5-1. They've won a few in a row. BYU at 18, coming off the win versus West Virginia. They're at 18, 5-0. Virginia just climbing the ranks. Big win at Louisville. They're now 5-1. Vanderbilt is 5-1. They go down 4 spots, lost to Bama. Arizona State goes up 4 spots with Sam Levitt and the boys at 21 there. Iowa State's 5-1. They go down 8 spots with a loss to UC. Um, Not a good game for them. Not a good game for them. I thought Iowa State was the best team in the Big 12, to be honest. I thought they were better than Texas Tech. I did. I thought they were a better team than Texas Tech, flat out, and they did not show that. Memphis, they've played 6 games, which is very interesting. They probably have a bye this week because I didn't see them on the score, but it's probably their first bye of the season because I think they're the only team, the 8 people here, that has actually played 6 games. Memphis in the top 25, they're undefeated. South Florida at number 24. I think it's the second time this season at number 24. They're 4-1. And Florida State, they're 3-2, still sneaking into that top 25. Then we look at the coaches poll. Nothing really interesting here besides Texas still being in it. I disagree with Texas being in the coaches poll. They weren't in the AP poll, so that's a good thing. Penn State's still in here too. The coaches in college football just they like the coaches poll. They really favor the big programs, like you see at Texas and at Penn State after 2 disastrous losses for Penn State and a loss versus DJ Lagway, who hasn't played good at all this season for Florida, in the way Arch Manning's playing. Um, Texas still in there, so you can see how big they favor the big programs. But yeah, that is your AP poll going into week 7 of college football. Should be a very interesting weekend. A few big ranked matchups. Have a good game, couple of games at noon. Have a good game at 3:30. IU and Oregon. Red River rivalry weekend. Georgia Auburn. Very good game. Michigan USC. Very good game. So yeah, should be an interesting weekend of college football. And that's a little bit. That's about all I gotta say about the college football landscape of things. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the National Football League. All that happened this weekend, and then we'll sign off. So, yeah, here is the NFL. The NFL delivered this weekend. Let me tell you, they delivered. Because we had some big upsets. We had some stunning wins. We had a lot going on. We had some upsets, particularly on Thursday night, particularly on Monday night, particularly. the Denver Broncos, which we'll talk about, which I picked. I picked the Denver Broncos my upset of the week on the Pick'em show last week, and I was right. So that's good. But Thursday night football, 49ers Rams, NFC West matchup. The Niners were beat up. They're beat up going into it. I talked about it on Game Picks. They were beat up. They win 26-23 on the road. Kyle Shanahan, one of the best coaching jobs he's ever pulled off. Mac Jones getting beat up in the pocket all night. He pulls off the win. It's a great game. Matt Stafford, 30-47, 3D9, and 3 touchdowns. Sean McVay opts to go for it on fourth down. The right call in overtime. They give it to Kyron Williams, who already had a fumble previously at the 1 yard line. That ball should be in Matthew Stafford's hands. I'm sorry, Sean McVay. I like Sean McVay as head coach. He's one of the best head coaches in the entire National Football League. That ball should be in Matthew Stafford's hands. Matthew Stafford is one of the most clutch quarterbacks, if not the most clutch, in the National Football League at age, what is he, 37 now? That ball should be in his hands. Sean McVay admitted in his post-game presser he did not like his play call. He wished he had that play call back, but a loss for the Rams I never expected at home. There was more 49ers fans in attendance, it felt like. I mean, the Niners were beat up. No Nick Bosa. The receiving corps beat up. No Pearsall. No Jawan Jennings. It was Kendrick Bourne doing the work. 10 for 142. I mean, Mac Jones is great with him. So, great win for the 49ers. They're 4-1. They'll take on Tampa Bay this weekend. On Sunday, we have the Bengals to talk about. I guess we'll start with that since they're at the top and on the ESPN thing, since I have them favored on ESPN. But in the intro, we talked about Joe Flacco. Obviously, he's the new guy. Jake Browning was horrible, 3 interceptions, a few right to the defense. Chase had 3 tackles on the interceptions. That was a big storyline. Chase had a great game in the end, though. Caught a few garbage time touchdowns, 6 for 110 and 2 touchdowns. Um, Shockingly, you look at the Lions score 37 points. It's a little bit overblown. The Bengals defense actually played well. They did. They played well. I mean, TJ Slayton was making plays. Trey Hendrickson had a strip sack. The offense just could not back them up. They just couldn't. The Bengals offense could not back them up, and Zach Taylor feels his seat getting hot. I know he does. That's now 3 straight losses for the Bengals. Can't say I expect him to win this game because I really didn't. I didn't pick him in the game picks this week, obviously, but the first half there was just not enough fight. I would like to see more fight in the first half. They started scoring in garbage time, and yeah, Joe Flacco, he'll be starting this weekend, I assume. In all likelihood, he'll be starting against Green Bay this weekend, so it'll be very interesting. We'll talk about that more on the Game Pick show this week. But yeah, Detroit beat Cincinnati in the jungle. Vikings Browns in London. Vikings win 21-17. A little bit come from behind win. Wentz wasn't great. Judkins was good. Jefferson played well. Jordan Addison catches the game winning touchdown from Carson Wentz to win the game. The Colts kill the Raiders 40-6. Geno Smith, 2 interceptions. He just has not been good. And to be honest with you, my gut feeling is he's one and done with the Raiders. They gave up a lot to the Seahawks to get him. I did not like the trade when it happened, and I don't even like it even more now because the way Geno Smith's playing. Geno Smith's best game this season was Week 1 against New England. Has not done that well since. Colts win at home 40-6. Shane Steichen's doing wonders for these guys. The Colts look like arguably the best team in the entire AFC right now based on the events that happened this weekend in Buffalo, but they're playing so well. 40-6 Colts win. Saints get the win, their first win of the season. Kellen Moore's first win as head coach. 26-14 at home versus the Giants. Few mistakes. I think Scatterboo fumbled. Jackson Dart might have fumbled once. Rashid Shaheed, 114 yards. He had a big, like 80, 90-yard touchdown. Rattler probably had his best game of the season so far. Saints get the win there. Dallas wins against the Jets 37-22. Jets being the only winless team remaining in the NFL. Dallas goes 2-2-1, 37-22. Dak Prescott, 4 touchdown passes, 2 90-yard scoring drives. Javonte Williams had a good game. Ryan Flournoy had a very good game. Dak Prescott's playing well. I mean, no one wants to admit it, but he should have some smoke behind MVP. I mean, they're 2-2-1. Dallas isn't horrible right now. The reason they're playing this well is because of Dak Prescott. I mean, he's playing great. He is. Denver upsets Philadelphia 21-17 in Lincoln Financial Field, killing the Eagles' undefeated season. Denver goes to 3-2. They rally from down from 17-3 in the fourth quarter. Dobbins has 20 carries, 79 yards. Devontae Smith had a good game, but Denver stayed in the game. They were down 17-3, had a few scoring drives. Sean Payton went for 2, made it 18-17, and got the win. This was a pretty electric game in the 1 o'clock window. Dolphins, Panthers, Carolina comes from behind. Miami started 17-0. They started, I mean, Jalen Waddle had a good game. Darren Waller had a good game, but Carolina's undefeated at home. at Bank of America Stadium this year. They win 27-24. Bryce Young comes from behind and gets it done. Rico Dowdle, 23 carries, 206 yards, and a touchdown. What a performance. I mean, former Cowboys running back, kind of been in Chuba Hubbard's shadow all year. Gets it done. The Houston Texans absolutely knocked the brakes off the Baltimore Ravens. CJ Stroud having his best game of the season so far, 244 and 4 touchdowns. Chubb has a touchdown. Um, the Ravens defense is a disaster. That's the bottom line. No Lamar Jackson this game. I didn't really expect the Ravens to win this game without Lamar Jackson. Houston shut out Tennessee the week prior, and they get a big win on Sunday against Baltimore. So they get it done there. Baltimore falls to 1-2 or 1-4 rather. Sorry. Um, and they have the Rams on Sunday. This was pretty interesting. Titans come from behind to beat the Cardinals 22-21. So many things happen in this game. I mean, you have to look at this name right here, Amari DiMercato. He did the Deshaun Jackson. He pulled the Deshaun Jackson, dropped the ball at the 1 yard line before the goal line. Jonathan Gannon ripped him apart, let me tell you. And he got fined $100,000 from the Cardinals. Came in a few hours before I started recording this. He got fined $100,000 from the Cardinals organization. They did not like that. He put his hands on DiMercato, which is it's unacceptable. Quite frankly, it's unacceptable. But a big mistake from DiMercato, nonetheless. They had Cam Ward had an interception that was fumbled, resulted in a Titans touchdown. Brian Callahan gets his first win of the season and somehow survives his job for a few weeks at least. So they win 22-21 to come from behind win. Buccaneers and Seahawks, arguably the best game of the entire weekend. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold both put on a show. Baker goes 379 for 2 touchdowns. Another guy that's in MVP hype, Baker Mayfield, but has the Bucks at 4-1 right now, 3-0 on the road. Only loss being the Philadelphia Eagles, who are your defending champions. Seattle Seahawks, I got to admit, even in the loss, Seattle looked good. Sam Darnold playing great, great uniform matchup in this one. A great game nonetheless. Emeka Egbuka 7 for 163 and a touchdown. He's looking like your runaway offensive player of the year, not offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, and doesn't look very close right now. You can argue he's the leader for offensive player of the year if he's been playing that good. I mean, Puka Nakua's been pretty comparable, but he's been great too. Washington beats LA in SoFi 27-10. Jaden Daniels makes his return, goes to 231 touchdown. Bill Krosky Merritt 14 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel has a touchdown. New England gets a win on Sunday Night Football in Buffalo in Orchard Park, 23-20. Very good game. Andy Borregales hits, not a game winner, but a field goal with like 15 seconds left on the clock. Drake May played well. I think he's getting a little bit overhyped right now because he threw no touchdowns in the game. I mean, he played very well though. He made a lot of plays, outside of the pocket, rolling to his right, made a ton of plays. Stephon Diggs was a security blanket for him all night. He had a very good game in his own right, but the last undefeated team gets knocked off on Sunday Night Football. So we only have 1-0 left on the NFL standings. That's New York Jets. We'll play the Denver Broncos in London this week. It'll be interesting to see that one. But 23-20, New England gets the upset on a big win. One of the biggest wins for New England probably since the Brady era on Sunday Night Football. And last night on Monday Night Football, we had a great one. Chiefs, Jaguars, Mahomes made a bad mistake to Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd picked six. Trevor Lawrence stumbles, runs in the end zone. I mean, he made a great throw to Brian Thomas Jr. It was a thriller. It was a thriller on Monday Night Football. Am probably going to go down as one of the best Monday Night Football games of the year? The Jags look for real. The job Liam Cohen is doing with the Jaguars right now is amazing what he is doing with them right now. But yeah, I mean, the Jags look great. They do. 4-1. Their only loss being Jake Browning, which is insane to say out loud. But they're 3-0 at home. Chiefs fall to 2-3. I still think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine, but they lose the game 28-31. Mahomes 318, 1 touchdown, had a pick as well. Tyquan Thornton kind of emerging, but the Jags end up getting the win. And before we get up out of here, we'll preview week 6 real quick. Eagles Giants play on Thursday night, Prime Video. Obviously, Barkley, he was limited, or he didn't practice yesterday, but it was just precautionary reasons. He'll play on Thursday night. Eagles are 4-1. They need a rebound. I expect the Eagles to win this game. Kind of spoiled my pick for the pick'em episode this week, but I mean, y'all knew who I was picking this game. So yeah, I expect the Eagles to win that. But yeah, Bengals Packers play on Sunday in Lambeau. Joe Flacco's first game as a starter. That should be interesting. Broncos Jets in London. Jets winless, trying to get their first win of the season. Broncos at 3-2. They've won a few in a row now. Cardinals, Colts, Gannon versus Steichen, two former Eagles assistants at 1 o'clock. Colts are rolling at home right now. Chargers, Dolphins, Herbert versus Tua, a little bit of 2020 draft class battle in Miami. Patriots, Saints in the Big Easy in the Superdome. Patriots coming off a big win. Brown Steelers, AFC North matchup at 1 o'clock as well. You have Cowboys, Panthers. You have Rico Dowdle playing his former team, coming off the performance he just had. It'll be a little interesting. This will be a very interesting game. 3-2 Seahawks, 4-1 Jaguars. Jags at home in this game. Mike McDonald coming off a loss. Darnold versus Lawrence. Be a very interesting one. Two head coaches doing a great job this season. Rams, Ravens, Baltimore 1-4. I do not expect Lamar Jackson to play in this one again. I expect it to be Cooper Rush. Rams coming off a loss. This is a big game for the Rams. And honestly, a big game for the Ravens in their own right. They dropped to 1-5. It's going to be very hard to rebound the season. But they do have a cakewalk of a schedule on the back end, so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Titans Raiders on Fox at 4:05. 49ers Buccaneers 4-1 versus 4-1. 4:25 kickoff. Mayfield versus probably Mac Jones again. McCaffrey, Abuka, star power in this game. George Kittle is not expected to be off IR for the start of this game, but we'll see. Lions Chiefs on NBC Sunday Night Football. Very good Sunday Night Football game in Arrowhead Stadium. Chris Collinsworth is excited, I'm sure. Bills Falcons 4-1, 2-2 in Atlanta. Should be an interesting game. I mean, Buffalo kind of needs to rebound here because you see New England go to 4-2 and you drop to 4-2. New England now takes the sole possession, not sole possession, but they take possession of number one in the AFC East. So, yeah, Bills Falcons on Monday night, and you have a doubleheader, as it is Bears Commanders, a rematch of the Hail Mary game from last year where Noah Brown caught a Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels. This game being in Washington again, so it'll be very interesting. A little bit of a rematch there. Bears coming off a bye week, Falcons also coming off a bye week. And the Vikings and Texans on bye week this week. But we'll talk more about all these games on Thursday for the Pick'em episode. I record the episode tomorrow night. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's 365 recap. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications for more content exactly like this. We will have the game picks on Thursday, week 6 game picks. We are already in week 6. Crazy how fast football season's coming by. I mean, yeah, should be an interesting weekend of football. I'll see you all on Thursday. Hope you all have a great night. And yeah, see you all soon.